The lights on set shimmered more intensely than usual. Jimmy Kimmel glanced toward the camera, flashed his signature smirk, and said, "Tonight's guest isn't just a pop star, she's a phenomenon." The audience erupted before he could even finish. Her name? From Blackpink? Lisa. She stepped out with the quiet elegance that only she possesses. No dramatic entrance, no exaggerated gestures, just a gentle smile, a hand placed softly over her heart, and a respectful bow. Clad in a sleek black outfit, her hair casually tied back, she looked more like a student slipping into a late-night lecture than a global superstar taking center stage. But that's the thing about Lisa. She didn't need to command attention. She was attention. She took her seat, crossing her legs with quiet poise, folding her hands neatly in her lap. Jimmy leaned in, his grin still lingering. "So, does this ever feel normal?" He gestured at the crowd. "All this? People screaming your name before you've even said a word?" Lisa let out a soft laugh, the kind that doesn't chase charm. She brushed a loose strand of hair behind her ear. She said, glancing toward the audience, then back to Jimmy. "I still feel like that girl from a small town in Thailand, dancing in front of a mirror, with no one watching." The atmosphere shifted. The laughter gave way to silence. The audience leaned in. Something more intimate had settled in the room. Jimmy blinked. "That's beautiful," he said. Lisa nodded slightly. "Both far away and right there. My dream wasn't to be famous. It was just to dance." A pause. And then the world found me. Moments earlier, the crowd had been buzzing. Now, silence. For that brief moment, Lisa wasn't a superstar on Jimmy Kimmel Live. She was that little girl again, barefoot, in front of a mirror. No spotlight, no cameras, just a beat, and a heart brave enough to follow both. A stillness. And just like that, the world leaned in. Not for the performer, but for the person behind the name. The night she left home at 14, a Tuesday, just after midnight, Lisa stood at the door of her childhood home, a small house in quiet Buriram, Thailand. Her suitcase was too big. Her backpack, too heavy. Her hands, shaking. Her mom tried to smile through red eyes, still hoping maybe someone would call and say, "It's too soon. Let her stay." But no one did. Lisa hugged her dog, pressed her cheek to its fur, and whispered, "Wait for me, okay?" Then she turned to her mom. "Mama," she said, her voice trembling, "I promise. I'll work hard. I'll make you proud." Her mother didn't answer at first. She just pulled Lisa in, held her tight, like it might be the last time. "You're my little girl," she whispered. "No matter how big the world gets, don't let it change your heart." Lisa nodded, bit her lip, and boarded the plane to Korea. She was 14, alone. She didn't speak Korean. She knew no one. Just a small girl with bangs too long and eyes too wide, carrying a dream she couldn't fully name. She didn't know what waited for her, but she knew what she left behind. The trainee years, isolation, fear, and a fight to stay. Her first memory of YG's practice room? The silence. Not peaceful. Pressured. Like no one dared breathe wrong. She stood in a corner, fists clenched, Korean still shaky. Someone handed her a schedule. She couldn't read much, but the numbers were clear. 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Dance. Vocal.
Rap. Repeat. Mirrors everywhere. Not to admire, but to measure how far you still had to go. Lisa watched the others, older, sharper, fluent. She told herself not to compare, but she did. Every moment. At night, she tried to call home. Some nights, no answer. Time zones. Sleep. Maybe it hurt too much for both of them. So she sat on the floor, hugged her knees, and whispered in Thai, "You're okay. Just make it to tomorrow." Then she tied her hair, stretched, and got back to practice. There were moments, more than she'll ever admit, when she wanted to give up. But the music would start, and her body moved before doubt could speak. One night, after stumbling through a routine, Lisa slipped into a stairwell and cried. No sobs, no drama, just fast, quiet tears. She texted her mom, "Did I make a mistake coming here?" Minutes later, her mom replied, "No, you're just in the middle of the story. Don't stop now." And somehow, that one sentence kept her going. When the world finally saw her, she was still dancing for one. The debut stage was thunderous. The crowd?
Even louder now. Camera flashes burst like fireworks. Screams rang out in languages she didn't speak. Posters waved with her name, Lisa, spelled in glittering letters. But inside, she didn't feel like a star. Not yet. She still felt like that girl who had spent endless nights in practice rooms, where the hum of overhead lights often drowned out the music. She still remembered the cracked mirror in the back corner, the one she avoided, because it reflected her doubt a little too honestly. Blackpink had just debuted. Their name was suddenly everywhere. Lisa's fan cams were blowing up. People started calling her the dancing machine, the Thai princess, global it girl. And still, on the night of her first big stage, after the fans had gone, after the crew packed up, after the glitter fell to the floor, Lisa sat alone in her dressing room, still in costume. Shoes off, makeup smudged, just
quiet. She opened her phone, scrolled past hundreds of tags, mentions, and messages, and paused on a photo. She was 10, wearing a tank top and slippers, mid-spin in her living room back home. No crowd, no lights, just her, dancing, for no one. She smiled, whispered softly to the girl in the picture, "I'm still dancing for you." Then she looked in the mirror, and for the first time, she believed she belonged. The world had finally seen her, but she had never stopped dancing for the one who started it all: fame, loneliness, the strange weight of being adored by millions. They shouted her name on every continent. Lisa, from Bangkok to Barcelona, from Seoul to São Paulo. But sometimes, in a quiet hotel room after a sold-out show, with the makeup wiped away and the hallway silent, it didn't feel like love. It felt like silence. After a whirlwind of performances and accolades, Lisa found herself back in Jakarta, where it all began. The city that once witnessed her humble beginnings now echoed with the cheers of fans who had followed her journey. But amidst the glamour and fame, she returned to the essence of who she was, the girl who danced barefoot in front of a cracked mirror, dreaming of a stage she hadn't yet touched. During a fan meetup at Beach City International Stadium, a young fan approached Lisa, holding a drawing that captured a moment from Lisa's childhood. The portrait depicted a barefoot Lisa dancing in front of a mirror, reminiscent of her early days in Thailand. The fan explained, "I drew it because when I saw you perform, I remembered that I used to dream too." Moved by the gesture, Lisa embraced the fan, realizing that her journey had inspired others to hold on to their dreams. In a candid interview, Lisa was asked, "Do you ever feel like you're enough?" The question caught her off guard, prompting a moment of reflection. She confessed, "Some days, I feel like I am everything people say I am. The dancer, the icon, the role model. But other days, I feel like I'm chasing a version of myself that I haven't caught up to yet. She acknowledged the challenges of being constantly in the spotlight, emphasizing the importance of staying true to oneself amidst external expectations. As the tour concluded, Lisa stood center stage, overwhelmed by the journey she had undertaken. With confetti falling and the crowd's cheers resonating, she whispered into the microphone, "Thank you for seeing me." This simple yet profound statement encapsulated her gratitude for the fans who had supported her and the realization that her true self had always been enough.